Welcome to Fear-Free Friday with a really great quote from Jase Souder. Say yes and take a step. Your destiny, the destiny you seek, is on the other side of your fear. I love that because it's just so true in my life. You know, all the great things I want for my life, it's always found on the other side of my fear. And what better day to address that issue than today, Fear-Free Friday. So with that, hello, my name is Christopher Diarmani. It is my pleasure, it is my passion, it is my life's mission to empower nonfiction authors just like you, so you can turn your dream of writing a book into your published reality. And the very simplest form of that is helping you say yes and taking that next step, whatever it is, because your published book is waiting for you on the other side of that. Simple, simple, it is. So with that, let me bring up some slides and see if we can make them fly. Yay! Let me ask you this question. Is it scary to put your words out into the world for the very first time? Is it scary to open yourself up to public examination where you might be mocked, ridiculed, shamed? You might be also embraced, lifted up, all those sorts of good things? Both are possible. But that doesn't change the fact that it can be scary, especially when you hit that publish button for the very first time. That can be really, really scary. So if you're feeling that, trust me, been there, oh my goodness. But feel that fear and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Because everything you want in your life is on the other side of it. It really is. Fear is simply the source of self-doubt. But fear, just like the horrible feeling in your gut because of the fear, it's a lie. It's a fabrication designed to keep you stuck in a place where you will never accomplish anything. And you're here watching me on this video because you want something better than that for your life. You know you were born for something bigger in your life. You were meant for more, and you know it in your guts, and yet you have this fear. Feel it. Let it go. Just let it go. Because it is a lie. It truly is a lie. Courage is always the answer to fear. Fear tells us really nasty things like well, I shouldn't say nasty things. Let me rephrase that. Let me go back just for fun. Courage is always the answer because our fear tells us that this is important. It tells us that this matters. Courage also tells us, that yes, and because this is so important, I absolutely must do it. So instead of using your fear as a thing to debilitate you and to stop you and to keep you stuck in that terrible, awful place where our dreams go to die, which I like to call the comfort zone, use your fear to power you to great new heights. Use your fear to motivate you into that mindset of, well, I get it's important. That's why I'm feeling a little trepidation here. But because it's so darn important, I must do this. Embrace that mindset. Just let the fear go. Use it as an empowering force because it is your choice. You get to choose how fear serves you in your life. So honestly, the only thing you need to know is your very next step. That's it. So what is that for you with your book today? I don't know. Only you can answer that. Maybe you want to share it in the comments. I would love to interact with you about that. I think that would be fun. Because whatever your next step is, if you're feeling scared about it and you don't know what the next step, how to do that, there's lots of people here that are going to be able to help. I would happy to be one of them. Just remember, the only thing you need to know is that very next step. And then just say yes and take it. Just say yes and take that step, no matter how terrifying it might feel in that moment. Because however terrifying that feels, simply doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It truly is irrelevant. So take that step, then take another, and another, and another. Just keep saying yes, and keep taking the next step until your book is written, until your book is published. And your book is out there in the world, transforming the lives you were meant to transform. That the whole reason you were born was to serve these people in this way. Just say yes and take your next step, and you'll get there. That much is guaranteed. So I want to ask you a series of questions here. Are you afraid to share your work for whatever reason? There's a multitude of reasons why that might be. I met a young lady, really great writer, in a Facebook group some years ago. And her book was written, her book was finished, she had the cover art done, everything looked amazing. And yet she said, I'm just so scared to hit publish. And I asked her, why? Why are you afraid? And she said, well, I'm afraid no one's going to read it. So I asked her, well, for me, it was the obvious question. Well, who's reading your book now? And you could just sense the light bulb going on. Nobody. I said, great, so you're living your worst fear right this moment. What do you got to lose by hitting publish? And she hit publish that same day, and she went on to go become a bestseller in her category with that book. And she's gone on to write a whole bunch more books. Because she just needed to understand that I'm already living my worst fear. So there's nothing left to be afraid of. The only where I can go from here is up. So if that's you, embrace your joy. Just say yes and share that stuff anyways. Do whatever that next step is anyways. Share, hit the publish button, whether it's on a blog post, whether it's on your book, whether it's on your social media post where you're just expressing something that is sort of wrenching at your heart at the moment. Just say yes. Share it anyway. Are you scared you're going to be judged for your writing? Like this young lady I was talking about, she was terrified no one would read her book. One of her fears was that she was going to be judged by someone and she would be found not worthy, right? Which is garbage. She was a great writer. You are too. I know that. You need to know that. So if you're scared about being judged for your writing, let me rephrase. I'm going to read from my notes here because I'm losing it. Are you scared you'll be judged for writing how you truly feel? Because that's very valid, especially if we're writing about really deeply personal things. When we're writing a book about how to get better at business stuff, that's a lot less psychologically challenging and emotionally challenging than sharing the story of some really terrible stuff you went through, discovered a path through it, and you want to share that with someone else. It's a very different thing. So being scared in that moment, completely understandable, completely rational. But here's the thing. Say yes and write it anyways. Because someone is out there. There's one person, there's probably thousands of people, probably tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. But just for the sake of argument, there's one person out there whose life, they're desperately waiting for, they're living in whatever that nightmare is that you lived through and found the solution for. They're living in it right now. And even though they've heard whatever you might share 100 times before, 1,000 times before, they can only hear it the way you present it. So just take that in for a second, that someone is out there and the only way that they're going to solve the problem in their life is if I write and share my book. Because only I, and just take on this sense of power, this sense of responsibility actually is what it truly is. They're out there waiting for my book. And if I don't publish it, they're going to be stuck in that misery for the rest of their life. Just take that on. And then guess what? I wonder what I might say next. Right? Say yes and do it anyways. Address that fear and just do it. Are you scared of sharing that story we just talked about, that road to recovery, how you healed from whatever that trauma was? Say yes and share it anyway. Just say yes and take that next step. And like the story about the young lady I talked about earlier, are you scared to hit publish because you can't take it back? Well, I'm here to tell you, say yes and do that anyway. Because this is a true story. Whatever. When I was first going from writing blog posts and being active in that field and writing books, I wrote and published a book. I finally grabbed the courage to hit publish, and I shared it with a friend of mine, and bless his heart, this young man gave me honest feedback. And he explained to me why what I wrote didn't work in the way it was structured. I mean, that was brutal stuff to hear, honestly, brutal stuff to hear. But he was right. He was 1,000% right. And so I took his advice to heart. I spent the next 24 or 48 hours just frantically reworking it the way him and I had discussed, and I republished it. And that book went on to become a bestseller in its category, and it continues to sell well today. So whatever you're scared of, you're scared of hitting publish because you think you might have screwed it up. Well, speaking as someone who's been there and done that, you can overcome that as well. Really easily, in fact. Took me less than 2 days, and a completely reworked book was out there and went on to become a bestseller, get rave reviews. So if I can face that fear and screw up royally and overcome it, guess what I'm going to tell you? Say yes and take that step. Go figure. Who knew I'd say such a thing in this video? Your fear is a lie. It truly is. It's just a great big liar, and it just loves to get you cowering in fear. Your success, both in writing and in life, is found on the other side of facing that fear and of saying yes. Embrace Fear-Free Friday. That's why I love Fear-Free Friday so much. This is just the one day a week set aside literally to embrace my courage, to embrace my compassion, to embrace my love for someone else, my ability, my gratitude that I have been gifted with these skills to be able to share my experience, strength, and hope with you so that you can take on that faith that I have in me and the faith that I have in you, and you can borrow my faith, as the expression goes, until you have enough of your own. Just say yes and take the step. Embrace your courage. Embrace your willingness. Because your published book truly is waiting on the other side of that fear. All you need to do is say yes and take the next step. And the next step after that. It couldn't be simpler. Don't know what else to say to that. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found some value in it for your life, something you can implement in your own life to help you move through whatever you're going through today on this Fear-Free Friday. And I would love to connect with you on social media. You can find the links to all my social media accounts, LinkedIn and all the rest, at authorcoach.click/Christopher. So just embrace Jase Souder's language here, this thought, because it's a beautiful one. Just say yes and take the next step. Everything you want from your life, both in writing and in the rest of your life, is on the other side of your fear. That's it. Have a fantastic rest of your Fear-Free Friday, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye for now.